Alright, we're doing something a little bit differently for this next fest, so I like to think I've gotten a little bit wiser in terms of covering these games. You're going to find the complete, unaltered, and full runs of each night of Next Fest on the secondary channel. There'll be a link to that down below, and these videos will be specifically my favorite games from each night. So, with that said, enjoy this video, and I will see you for the next one. And we are starting off with Dredge. This is a Lovecraftian fishing adventure game, I guess we could call it. You are the captain of a fishing vessel, and on your way to your new job, you have crash landed on a mysterious chain of islands. And what's a fisherman to do than to, well, go fishing? Nothing seems out of the ordinary here, except for some mysterious lights in the dark, fish that have additional appendages for some reason, and the fact that at nighttime things tend to try and kill you. So the demo itself is kind of the first part of the first chapter of the game, and I don't know how it's going to work episodically. The structure here is that each day is separated into daytime and nighttime. The fish that you can catch, and as well as the dangers that will be coming after you, will be dependent on what time of the day it is. Your job is to catch fish or dredge wreckages for various loot. You can then take it to the various ports in order to turn in for miscellaneous goods or to complete quests and earn money. Money will be used to repair your vessel, buy new gear, and even upgrade your boat as time goes on. And the game features what appears to be a pretty extensive upgrade list, giving you better gear, making your boat faster, improving storage space, etc., etc. Quests will come in that will require you to either catch specific kinds of fish or investigate the weird things that are going on all around the island chain. There are hidden puzzles and all kinds of crazy things that can come back to haunt you. Now, in terms of how open or linear the game is, we don't really get a chance to see that in this demo. But I really like what I'm seeing here. It has that great sense that, yes, during the daytime everything is nice and peaceful and nothing bad could ever happen, until it becomes nighttime and then, well, bad things will start to happen to you. And the game has that really great balance of dread and tension as you try to push your luck at nighttime before things may come after you. My main concern from playing this, I guess, would be just how much open the game is going to be, as the quests are very linear in terms of when they're going to show up, what you're going to need for them, and the game is going to eventually push you further and further out, well, no pun intended for fishing, to explore the wider areas of the chains. But I really enjoy this one. And I think Dredge is going to be one of those games that you're either going to be all in or all out for its core gameplay. And if you're the slightest bit interested in it, definitely check out the demo. We now have Gunbrella. This is a, well, kind of a Metroidvania where we're using Mary Poppins' most destructive weapon, the Gunbrella. A umbrella that also acts as a gun. Shocking, I know. But our lovely weapon slash rain protecting device here functions as your weapon, movement tech, shield, dash, and probably a few other functions that we haven't quite seen yet. We are exploring a mysterious world after being gifted the Gunbrella. Strange things are going on, and we are going to have to fly, shoot, dash, and anything else our Gunbrella can do in order to save the day. From the demo, it mainly focused on combat with some puzzle solving, but the store page does hint that there will be upgrades and additional things you can get access to modify your Gunbrella. I will be saying that word quite a bit over the next few minutes. The movement and general play of this game feels great. I like how you can use two different buttons for shooting based on whether or not you want to use free aim or just let the game shoot in the direction that you're going. Combat is very decisive in this one, as enemies will be chasing after you, as well as shooting you from quite a long distance. You can use the Gunbrella, if you open it at the right time, to parry or reflect bullets. But I'm wondering just how hard the game is going to get, given the limited health that you have access to as you're playing through it, which you can't see because my camera is blocking it in this footage. But definitely a very entertaining game, and one that I want to see more of. And if you are a fan of some 2D action-adventure and a connoisseur of umbrellas, then I would say definitely check this one out. We now turn to Pixeljunk Scrappers Delux. This is part of the whole Pixeljunk IP/franchise. And for this one, we are doing beat-em-up clean-em-ups. It is the far distant future, and humanity is gone, but robots are using our trash for money. Your job is to wander the streets with your robotic garbage truck and friends to clean it up for fun and profit, and beat up anyone that gets in your way. So the general play of this one is definitely arcade beat 'em up. You'll be able to do basic punches and combos enemies that get in your way, but your main goal is to collect trash and throw into the back of your garbage truck. The more you carry at one time, the slower you are, as well as you have to worry about things falling over your stack, but you'll gain more money or a greater bonus for more you put in at a single time. And there are of course additional things to hunt, bonus collectibles, challenges, that kind of thing. When you play the game solo, you get that little robot helper there that you can see carrying some trash, but the game is available or open to up to 4-player co-op. From what I played of the demo, it does feel like you want to have at least one person on your team, and some of the maps are even told you, or they will even say that you should have like 2 to 4 players for this one and that kind of thing. My main issue with this game is I think, like with a lot of the multiplayer focused titles that we've played, and what you're also going to see later on in this video, is that single player wise they are just okay, but they really shine with multi. So if you do have at least 2 or hopefully 3 friends who are into beating up robots and picking up trash, I would definitely check this one out. We now have Bravery and Greed. This is a 1 to 4 player dungeon crawling hack and slash. You play as a group of adventurers who are trying to find an ancient treasure. And to do that, we are going to have to, as most adventurers do, go into deadly dungeons, look for mysterious items, and hopefully not get killed in the process. So right from the start, I love the aesthetic and the art of this game. The lighting really sells the title. There's a lot of very subtle and great animations in this game. Each one of the game's 4 characters is unique. They have their own weapon, style of attacking, and specials and a specific weapon modifier or abilities you can use. The warrior here, she can throw like a chakram, as well as, well, also hug a dog or wolf as you can see, but also can parry and counter. You'll collect various items that you can equip, as well as be able to worship different gods. And each god will come with its own set of unique buffs and perks. So it does pay for everyone to kind of differentiate themselves. From what I played of the demo, I'm not sure if the dungeons are handmade or randomly generated. But there will of course be a variety of enemies, traps, treasures to find, and you're going to have to hopefully get through it with you and up to 3 other buddies. As you play, you'll unlock additional items that can show up, as well as a tarot card system that you can put cards onto your character to give them buffs or change certain things around. Now, the general combat of Bravery and Greed is a little bit on the floaty side. It reminds me in some sense of kind of like the physics of a Smash Brothers, where you'll swing or you'll attack and it really carries your character forward, which can make it a little bit hard to do very precise timings and things along those lines. But definitely a strong game, and if you have any friends interested in a really solid cooperative game, definitely check this one out, and I am really looking forward to hopefully playing this one for multiplayer night in the future. But with that said, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have 2 more games for the video today. And if you're interested in my thoughts on design, then be sure to check out my game design books. For entry-level students, we have 20 Essential Games to Study, and then the Game Design Deep Dive series that takes an extensive look at different genres, with more coming soon. We now have Flowstone Saga, which gets on the list for being a very different game than I was expecting. What we have here is a JRPG filled with character progression, perks, gear, all that, but instead of your traditional combat system, well, we go to Tetris. Yes, this is a Tetris RPG, where you'll have to do your various line combining in order to get the most damage out of your attacks. Now, as you play, you'll unlock additional stones, which will have either more effects, or they'll have more of those little crystals in them, which will allow you to do more damage or I believe, specials and things along those lines. However, my main issue with this game is that I am terrible at Tetris. And much like a game like BPM, which was a rhythm-based FPS that I could not play, I think this game falls into that same category. This is one of those titles that has a very specific audience. You need to be all in on JRPG style progression and leveling up and stuff like that. And you also have to be really damn good at Tetris. Now, there are accessibility features you can turn on, such as things will only move like turn-based as opposed to being real-time, which honestly I probably should have turned on while we were playing this on stream. And if you are not at all as skilled at Tetris, I would suggest you do the same. The game also features different difficulty settings and stuff along those lines. So this is one of those titles that it can be kind of hard to recommend. You really need to be a Tetris fan first, RPG fan second. But if you do fall into that category, this could be your next big game. And for the last game of this episode, this is Vernal Edge. What we have here is a Metroidvania that really tries to go out of its way to be different in terms of both movement and combat tech compared to other Metroidvanias. If you've seen the channel in the past few weeks, we've played a lot of Hollow Knight-esque style games, and this one is certainly not going in that direction. Our story is that we are after our father, who has done something evil enough to warn us, seeking a blood feud against him. We are in a mysterious world where there are very few humans left. And in order to take them out, we're going to explore these remaining floating islands. So, what separates Vernal Edge from some of the other Metroidvanias we've played? The first thing is that there is a greater emphasis on combat. And what I mean is that this is not a game where you're going to be wandering around fighting enemy after enemy. Instead, all battles are arena-based. As you get into combat, enemies can be staggered as well as blocked and parried. Unlike other Metroidvanias, where we've seen more of a healing as a passive thing, here it is entirely active. You can't see it because my camera is blocking in the upper left, but you have a gauge that when it fills up, you can target an enemy and then you mark them. When you initiate a special attack that costs that meter, it will absorb their essence and allow you to get health back, as you just saw right there. It's a very interesting system, and the game definitely promotes aggression. You have various charge moves, you can juggle enemies. It gets very almost like Devil May Cry-ish in terms of the combat as you play it. And it really does stand very differently from some of the other games we've played, where combat is just kind of there to like move you from point A to point B. It's not something you're really going to focus on. With that said, however, if you're not a fan of this kind of arena style where you are trapped in here until every enemy is dead or you are, then you're not going to like this game. In terms of movement tech and general upgrades, you're going to be finding your who's who of collectibles, including lore. You'll also get health and mana upgrades and more spells and tech. And again, all that good stuff you need or you expect out of a Metroidvania. Now you're probably noticing that it's very quiet and muted, and that is not because the game or I have the volume low. This game is very muted in terms of, I think, of its aesthetic as well as its sound design. And I hope we get like a little bit more elements there. The animations are really well done. So this would be one of those games where I would not recommend this if you are brand new to Metroidvanias and looking for your first big version or first big game to get into. But if you are someone like me who has certainly, and I do mean certainly, played a lot of Metroidvanias in their time and looking for one that is a little bit different, then I would keep an eye out for Vernal Edge and check out the demo. But with all that said, that is going to do it for night number 2. We'll be back with another spotlight real soon. You'll find links to all the games down below. Do that liking, subscribing, and commenting. Check out the Discord and Patreon, and come back for daily discussions on game design here, and on game wisdom, where I examine the art and science of games.